Well, hello story chasers, this is Amber again, and in today's video we're doing 20-minute Tuesday instead of 10-minute Tuesday. This will be our second week of doing 20-minute Tuesday, and the idea is to figure out which style do you guys like better, 10 minutes or 20, wait, 20, I can't get it right, there you go, 20. 20 minutes. Let me know in the comments below which one you like better. 10 minutes is really short and sweet. 20 minutes is a little bit longer, but I can get in way more questions than I could in 10 minutes. So you guys decide. After these 2 weeks, I'll make the decision based on your comments, and then we'll go with either 10 or 20. So all of these questions that I'm answering today are from the comments in my videos. So make sure you're leaving me questions in my comments. If I don't answer them directly in the video, or if I feel like it's a question that a lot of people are asking, I will answer it in these particular videos every single week. Alright guys, it is time for 20-minute Tuesday. Let's put 20 minutes up on the clock and let's get started. The first question is from Michelle, is it Schweitzer? She wants to know, have you considered a different type of rig? I have. I think about it all the time, actually. I'm pretty happy with my van, but there are times when I feel like I just would like more space. I looked at a truck camper option at one point, but it was pretty cost prohibitive at this point, so I did not go with that option right now. If I had actually started out in the very beginning and looked at a truck camper, I probably would have purchased that rather than the Class C or even the van that I'm in right now. It just gives you a lot more space. You can unhook the camper from the truck, drive the truck off and go explore if you want to use that, or go in town and get groceries and leave your home in the campsite that you've chosen. So you don't always have to break camp. In the van, you have to break camp all the time to go somewhere. It's also more nimble. It can go a lot more places. It can park in regular parking spots. So there's a lot of pros to it as well. You'll find that with any rig you pick, there's going to be a sacrifice of space, a sacrifice of nimbleness, a sacrifice of maybe having to pay for more campgrounds because you're too big and can't get into BLM or National Forest land areas, although I've seen some pretty big rigs get into some of those areas on the West Coast for sure. So there's just a trade-off any which way you go. Right now I'm looking at currently renovating this van or buying a different rig and renovating it where it would feel like it's more space and has more organization solutions for me, and I think that's what I'm really looking for. This just isn't set up properly the way that I would like it, to be honest. So that's kind of where I'm sitting at right now. The next question is from Deb Campbell. Deb wants to know, when you leave Lily in the van or a hotel, do you let someone know where she is or carry that information with you in case something was to happen to you? So I have friends and family who know where I'm at all times. I also use a Garmin inReach. It's a satellite device that allows you to text if there's no cell signal. So I have that to keep safe so people also know where I'm at. I use Google locations. People know where I'm at with that as well. And they typically know if like I'm going to be gone, like when I was in the NASA Space Center, they knew that I was gone and Lily was in the hotel. I do not carry anything with me that has that information, but I would assume, so like in my phone, I have emergency contacts set up in there. So I would assume that if something happened to me and medical or police called my emergency contact list, that person is obviously going to say, oh hey, there's a dog in the van or a dog in the hotel, and then they'll deal with it at that point. I know, there's just no way of getting around it, but yes, people know that I have the dog and that they would respond accordingly. So she has food and water down on the ground, thankfully, here in the van. So if something did happen and I was gone, or you know, something happened to me and I was, God forbid, I died, and Lily was in here for a couple of days, she would still have water, which is good. She may not have enough food, and she may go to the bathroom in the van, but those are worst case scenarios and she's not gonna die. That's obviously good. Let's just hope that never happens. Dirtbag Revolution says, what is the inspection for? I've never had to do a vehicle inspection, so that makes me a little nervous. Is it emissions or something else? And what they're talking about is the inspection that I have to do in Texas for my van. Every so often you have to do inspections in order to be registered, your RV, your vehicle, whatever. Yes, part of it is emissions. They just want to make sure everything is working properly in the van, just like any other state that has inspections. It's a place that you go to, they plug into your RV and it does a little readout of what all is going on with your van or your vehicle, gives them some information to see if things pass or fail. They check like your windshield wipers, your brake lights, all of your lights, things like that to make sure things are working. And then of course the emissions. The thing about Texas is, with me being gone all the time from Texas, if it comes up that I have to have an inspection on the van, I can still get my registration, but without doing the inspection, because I just tell them, you know, I'm away with my van. But I have 3 days when I come back into Texas to get the van inspected and turn that in. So that's what that's all about. The next question is again from Michelle Schweitzer, and she says, good tip about the Marriott card. Do they also allow dogs at the Marriott hotel? So when I showed you guys that I was at the Marriott, I also have a Marriott credit card that I talked to you guys about, and I will have links in the description for all of this information. But you can get a Marriott credit card and get points on it for everything that you purchase. So I don't use a debit card on the road whatsoever because of theft or hacking. I always use a credit card. So I use my Marriott card for most of my purchases because it gives me free points towards hotel rooms. And occasionally I like to stay in a hotel room, especially like this last time when I had maintenance issues. It was really, really hot and I needed to stay someplace that was cooler, and also a place for Lily, my dog, to stay at when I needed to do maybe an excursion for the day. That way she's safe. I don't have to worry about her or check on her throughout the day in the van. That's what Michelle's question is related to. Do they allow dogs? So most Marriotts do allow dogs, especially if it's the kind where, like what I got, where it's an extended stay and you have a kitchenette. Some of them don't actually allow dogs, but if you go to their website, you can actually filter for that option, are pets allowed? And that will tell you which ones in your area allow or don't allow. But even the one that I stayed at, even though they allow dogs, it's very nice. You might have seen it in the video. It's really nice. So it's not a gross place just because they allow dogs, and it didn't smell like dog, nothing. The next question or statement, which is kind of funny, from Joe, she says, Amber, I hope it's okay that I answered for you. So someone had asked a question and Joe responded, and so I wanted to tell you guys that I do see that sometimes where you guys will answer the questions for me in the comments, and I actually love it. One, it's easier on me because you guys are answering the questions for me, but the real reason is it helps build community. And so I love to see it, that you guys are just in there and helping out with these questions and telling people the things that you know or your experience, because you guys have a lot to offer as well. It's not just me. So I really do love that. I appreciate it, Joe, or anybody who actually responds for me. The next question is from Robin B. She says, or he, I'm not sure, says, I guess I don't understand why you're in Florida when you know it's going to be hot and humid. The point of what you're doing is enjoying life. Why not be in cooler places and enjoy your life, visiting Florida when it's cooler? So great question, Robin. I've been getting that one a lot because if you've seen a lot of my Florida videos, I was hot in some areas and it was very humid. Now, the Panhandle was fine when I came in. It wasn't hot and it wasn't humid at all. It was really nice. It wasn't until I started moving south, of course, that it got more hot and humid. So here's the thing. First of all, I always check the weather where I'm going. If it's going to be too hot, average temperature throughout the year, I just don't go. I typically follow 70-degree weather. All of my research and from the people that I talked to that were from Florida, at the time of year that I went, let's just say Key West, mid-March, it wasn't supposed to be as hot as it was. It got into the 90s, guys. And on top of that, they said this was record temperatures that they had in that area for this time of year. I can't help that stuff. I'm not going to book it all the way out of Key West and head north when it was hot everywhere and ruin my travel plan. So at the end of the day, I just have to deal with it. And sometimes there's things that I need to do along the way that I want to do. I don't want to bypass it, so I'll just suck it up. So you may hear me say it's hot. I'm not complaining to be complaining. I'm just sharing my experience of what's happening. So that's what my travel vlogs are about, is sharing my experience and sharing what's going on. You know, I got bit by a zillion no-see-ums also while I was there, and that hurt, and I was apparently allergic to them, and I had to figure out how to deal with it. I put a video out about that as well, about my experience and how I was able to actually prevent them a little bit, but also to treat the bites as a PSA to people who may have an allergic reaction to it. So that's really what it's about, Robin. Sometimes I'll just leave, but there are a lot of times that I don't, because again, I had so much to do here in Florida and I didn't want to pass it up. So I did things like I went and got the hotel room. I just make small adjustments. So hope that makes sense. There have been people who have said Florida's always hot. Florida's not always hot. There was like this last week it was nice and cool outside. So maybe it was cooler earlier in the year, but I couldn't have left it. It just happened to be what my travel plans were. I'm sorry if you guys thought it was too much for me, you know, complaining about it being hot and humid. I was just sharing my story and my experience and how I was dealing with it. But that's really what it boils down to. And it could be anything. It doesn't have to be Florida. It could be, like I was in Texas and I had to deal with the cold winter storm that came through that was absolutely crazy. I got down as far south as I possibly could to escape that winter storm that was coming in. People asked me, why didn't I leave then too? Well, I couldn't. There was nowhere I could go unless I wanted to go back west, which I wasn't going to backtrack because I was headed east. And that storm went all the way to Florida. So there was nowhere I could go in a sufficient time frame in order to escape it. So you just have to figure out what your next best option is, which sometimes is to get a campground or to get a hotel. So that's really what it boils down to. The next question is from Diane M. Cart. She says, can I ask, are you wearing Invisalign on your top teeth? I'm not actually. So I actually had my teeth fixed as an adult. I didn't have them done when I was a kid. My top teeth have always been pretty straight. My bottom teeth have not. They were really bad, to be honest, really bad. So I got braces put on as an adult. I think I was in my mid-30s. Had braces put on, but my bottom teeth, when I had the braces taken off, you have to wear kind of like an Invisalign retainer. And that retainer, I didn't want to wear like all throughout the day. I was in a corporate job. And so it just, I don't know, it felt weird and everything. But my bottom teeth just kept moving, even if I tried to like put it on just at night. I opted to have them put a wire behind my front teeth. So it's a wire that's just glued on, and that's been since I was in my mid-30s, so almost 15 years since I've had that thing on, and I haven't had any issues with it. So that's kept it nice and, you know, tight right there and in line, and I don't have to wear a retainer anymore on the bottom. And then because my teeth were already pretty straight on the top, I don't have to wear that Invisalign retainer on the top anymore. So no, I don't, but thank you for my smile. It cost me a lot of money for my straight teeth. All right, so the next question is from Deborah. She says, are the National Geographic books the one that you use continuously updated or not? Should I wait to purchase it until I'm ready to get on the road? I don't know how often they're updated. I've never really looked, to be honest. But here's the thing. So I got mine in 2017. The scenic byways aren't really going to change. They're the scenic byways no matter what. And the stops that are along the way, so far I haven't had any issues with the stops that they've recommended because most of them are tried and true, like national parks, national forests, state parks, various things like that. So there's not, or landmarks. So those things are not going to change. Necessarily. I mean, I suppose there's a chance that they could change a little bit. They might add some additional scenic byways. I think, in fact, this year, just in general, not National Geographic wise, but I think they added 60 new scenic byways in the United States. So that could potentially be added to the National Geographic book at some point. But that shouldn't be a problem for you purchasing any other edition. I mean, even if you purchase the 2017 edition, again, it's a valuable resource. The information shouldn't change. The road is still going to be there. So I think you're fine to purchase any iteration of that. Just as I sit here and I edit this video, I was sitting there thinking to myself, wait a minute, there was one big huge change. Over off the Pacific Coast Highway, Big Sur had a major landslide. This is the second time in I think maybe 5 to 7 years that this has happened. I don't know if they're going to fix it, but that is a change to the scenic byway. So I guess things like that can actually happen where you have natural disasters, and that might change it. But in the grand course of the entire book, that's only one that I actually know of. Of course, I'm not up to date on every single scenic byway over there yet, but I haven't run into any other problems anywhere else. So I guess natural disasters can happen. The next question is from Linda, and she says, do you put the light in your engine compartment every night you park? So what she's talking about is one of the videos that I did a Q&A. We talked about mice being in the van and preventing them. So I raise the hood and I'll put a light in the engine compartment in the place that I know that they typically go to. I just have it shining down on top of that area. So a headlamp, I'll use that sometimes, or a puck light that has batteries in it, or a rechargeable puck light. And I don't do it every time. It's only when I feel like I'm in a place where there could potentially be mice. So the longer you stay in one place, the more susceptible you are to rodents or ants or bugs or whatever. It's just like having a house. You're stationed there for a while and they find you and they smell your food and they smell all of the things and they go to it. So the longer you stay somewhere, the more issues you could potentially have. So yes, if I'm going to be there for a while, I will put that light in there along with all of the stuff that I spray around, which is in that video, that helps to prevent mice. Deb Z, she says, question, where do you store all of your hats? I too am a hat fanatic. Well, right now I just have a hook in the back that I hang them on, but I've gotten so many of them lately. I think I'm going to have to put a few more hooks. I have like some areas where I buy those command strip hooks and I just put them there. They're so lightweight, so you can just buy like the ones that the command strip hooks that are for like 1 pound weight or something like that, and then hang it up. Next question is from Wanda Curtis, and Wanda says, have you thought where you might plant your roots when you're done traveling? I have not. There's been a lot of places where I've been and I'm like, oh, this would be a great place, or I really love this, but nothing concrete, no. I still have so much to see and do. I haven't seriously thought about anything like that. The next question is from Janet Johnston. How do you get around to shaving your legs while traveling and living in a van? It's I use an epilator, and I'll put the link below as well, but you can use it wet or dry, and the reason why I like it is because it can be dry, it's electric, and you just shave everywhere. So it hurts a little bit when you first do it, because I do it under my arms too, and my legs, but you get used to it after a while, and it's not a big deal. But I love it because you don't have to use any water, you can shave whenever you want, wherever you want, and that's what I do for shaving. The next question is from Pat Rigdon. So I had shown, that I have my nose ring now. Pat says, there's nothing feminine about a nose ring. What are you trying to prove and to whom? We liked you the way you were, just natural. First of all, I'm not trying to prove to anybody anything. That's the beauty of who I am and what I do, is I did the nose ring for myself. I didn't do it for anybody else, and I'm not really sure why it's such a big deal to anybody. It's my body. So when I share stuff on my videos, I share stuff about things that I really enjoy doing and things that really speak to me, like my trees, touching trees. I really love that, or getting my nose ring because I think it's beautiful and feminine, and it's like, getting my ears pierced. But it's a personal preference. You don't have to like it, but that's the beauty, is you don't have to like anything that I do. I'm just sharing with you what I do in my life and my experiences, and that's really all it boils down to. It's not for anybody else but for myself. I enjoy having things like this, and I don't know, I don't really feel like it's anybody else's business about whether they like it or not, to be honest with you. I'm just gonna be honest here with you guys. You can like it, you can not like it, that's absolutely your choice. I did this solely for myself. Alright, so the next question is from Jackie Yarborough, and she says, did you get your lips done? No, I didn't. I thought that was such a funny question, but I know what you're talking about. There's a couple of videos where my lips did look fuller. The reason is because I lined my lips with a darker shade of lip liner than I typically do. Because that was darker and the lipstick was a little bit darker, it was more like a mauve color, it does make my lips look bigger. And I didn't even overdraw them either. It just is like that. It's just more well defined, but no, I didn't get my lips done. I'm scared to do that. I see people who do that and they get like big, huge lips. So, I mean, I'd love to fix this on my side. It doesn't bother me, I've had it my whole life, but actually if you look at this side of my lip on my left side, it's actually a little bit lower than my right. So sometimes I actually will overdraw that. If I feel like some days it's like more pronounced than others, so sometimes I will overdraw that side just a little bit to help match that side, but otherwise no, I didn't get my lips done. I want to get this done. Yeah. My neck, it's just, yeah. All the years of weight loss and then getting older, it's just sagging more. I don't like it. I don't. So actually we'll get this done at some point. So the last question is from House of Dogs. How do you stay positive and keep the negative and spooky thoughts at bay? I have my trailer ready for pickup in 2 months, and I go between fear and excitement more and more as time gets closer. So it's natural to feel that way. I know that it can feel scary at first because this life is very different than your normal sticks and bricks. It's a very foreign concept for most people, so it's a natural fear. But once you get out there and you start doing it, you'll start overcoming those fears. I promise you, it's gonna get better. You just have to do it. You're gonna learn, you're going to go through all of the emotions and all of the learning curves. I think it took me about 6 months before I felt really completely comfortable, and part of that was just my rig, feeling comfortable with my rig. But remember, you've got to learn your rig. If you've never had an RV before, then you've got to figure all that stuff out. Like dumping the tank for the first time is scary because you don't want to spill everything all over you, right? And trust me, I've done it twice and in my Class C. It was not fun. Then you have the stuff like if you're going to boondock, that was the other thing for me, was learning about boondocking and staying in free places. I didn't want to stay in campgrounds all the time, so I really had to learn about where can I stay, where can I not stay for free on national forest, BLM land, stealth camping, urban camping, all of that stuff. So there's a big learning curve for that as well. It's very, very natural for you to feel that way. As far as how do I stay positive, I just know that fear can actually be a good thing. Fear can be a gut check for you. It can be something that says, hey, stop for a moment and let's think about this. And then you check in with yourself and you figure out your path forward. That's how I look at fear these days, as an obstacle to overcome. And I will tell you too, like, I'm not a scary movie fan at all. I don't watch scary movies. I never have. And I absolutely would not watch them on the road. Even some suspenseful movies I don't watch on the road because I have such a visual mind. It would actually freak me out a little bit to think about that stuff, like it's actually going to happen in my van. So I don't watch that stuff. I just tend to really focus on the positive things of life. And you know, I know negative things happen, bad things happen out there, but I feel like the more you focus on positive, the more of that stuff you actually get. I hope that makes sense. But I absolutely encourage you to just take that step and do it. That's what's going to help you to overcome. And if you want some assistance with that, I do have my Nomad Mentorship Bootcamp course. Shameless plug, of course. Click on the link below. You can go to storychasing.com/NMB for Nomad Mentorship Bootcamp, and that'll allow you to look at the course and see if it's something that you would like. But the great thing about it is I help you to transition from a sticks and bricks life into a nomadic life, and you have that support from all of us in the community, and we do live video calls once a month. So you have all of the support to help you get through some of these questions that you're having and some of these fears that you're having, because we've all been there, and with the support in our community, you're going to be able to get through it a lot faster. All right, guys. This is my last 20-minute Tuesday, unless you guys decide that you really love 20-minute Tuesday, but we're just trying it out. So if you liked it or didn't like it, leave me a comment below. Let me know, do you want 10-minute Tuesday or 20-minute Tuesday? And also, if you have any more questions, please leave that also in the comments below, because that's where I get a lot of your questions that I will answer on these particular segments. So I appreciate you guys so much for joining me in this video today. Keep story chasing, follow your dreams, and live your life to its fullest. That's what story chasing is all about, and that's absolutely what I want for you as well. All right, guys, have a great day, and I will see you in tomorrow's video. Bye.